Hey everybody, it is Elson932 on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me for Alone, episode 2. Please take a moment to like, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and leave your comments below because I need you to engage. Know what you like, don't like, and guess what? We have another tap out. Episode 2, we have another tap out. We're going to meet the other 5 contestants, but somebody done tapped out too after 4 days. So let's get into it, y'all. I know I can last a day, without any survivalist training. And they're tapping out in 4 days. So this is called The Best Laid Plans. And the quote they start the episode off with is, "Things are not always as they seem. The first appearance deceives many." And that's Phaedrus. A quote from Phaedrus. So they say 4 days earlier. Remember, we're meeting the other 5 contestants, so we're going over their first 4 days. So they're dropped off. Who we're going to meet in this one, we see Douglas, Nathan, Doug, Colton, and Baha dropped off. So I'm going to do this one a little bit different. It'll be each person's entire experience there, and I'll just encapsulate it instead of jumping from one to the other. So let me know which you prefer from episode 1 recap to this one. So we start with Baha. It is day 1. It is 10:09 a.m. He is dropped off. He tried to yell at the helicopter, "I've changed my mind." Of course, that was a joke. And he said that. It was a joke. So he's dropped off at the riverside. And his first thought is he will lose a lot of weight. He yells out his name like, "Baha is here!" And I love that. That is something so much I would do. So we hear his backstory. He was born in the Soviet Union. He served in the military there. And I'm like, the cold version of Alone would have been so easy for him. So easy for him. He said he's the only breadwinner for the family. He has wife and kids. And y'all know how I feel about people with wife and kids. Any kind of emotional connection. I'm like, you may have the technical skills, but you just may, cave to emotional constraints. So he said he came from a world of very little to no comfort. So the first thing he says he does, he makes a sundial to indicate north and south coordinates, and I'm figuring it's a way for him to tell time. Now, the show tells us that his sundial has been used since 1500 BCE to determine direction. So this, of course, is, historically something people use. He says Africa reminds him of back home in the old Soviet Union, and I was shocked. Because he says, while it's hot during the day, it's very cold at night. I really thought various regions of the Soviet Union was just either cold or hot, not even cold at night. So the show tells us that the Great Karoo Desert at night can get to minus 27 degrees Fahrenheit or minus 15 degrees Celsius during winter. I didn't think in South Africa, even in the desert, it would get that cold. So he said the sun rises over the ridge. He uses his sundial to see it. He said it rises over that ridge, and it means it's colder mornings for a long time. He thinks of moving about 2 miles away so he can have more sun, more sun on him during the day. So y'all, think about this. He's looking at 2 miles away. He ain't just moving that backpack he carrying. He ain't just moving a backpack and a bow and arrow. He's got to move all of the supplies that they have given him. He's got to move everything they have given him. Meaning the cases and cases of cameras, the cases and cases of batteries, everything that they dropped off for him initially also has to move. He said his first day is the best since he has the most energy. So this is day 1. It's 2:51. He said he tired of walking. I was like, are you walking since not the 10 a.m. they dropped you off, but you've been walking since morning. So he sees large poop, and he says it's maybe Cape Buffalo. We're told Cape Buffalo are approximately 30,000 of them in South Africa. They are aggressive and end up ending the lives of over 200 people per year. He said he knows it's not wise to be walking at the peak day in the heat. He's getting hotter, tired, and thirsty. And they tell us that dehydration happens in desert quickly because of lack of ambient moisture in the air. I was thinking the same thing. Dude, why are you walking in the heat? Why are you walking in the peak time? This is when the sun is blazing on you. I would have wait till shade, wait till evening, and then move. But it ain't me. At 3:58 p.m., he made it. He said there's lots of firewood over here. There's lots of clay. There's lots of rocks. And what he needs now is water. So he needs a fire. Now, y'all, he did not bring a ferro rod. That was not in his item list at all. He said it's because he was confident he can make a bow drill fire. Now, a bow drill fire is where you make like a bow and you kind of pull back and forth and it's spindling in a piece of wood on the bottom. That is a very primitive way of me saying it, but it's basically where you see people pulling a bow back and forth and it's just turning to create a fire, the friction to create a fire. He uses acacia tree, and I hope I'm saying it, or acacia tree for the bow drill fire. It's dense and durable hardwood. That's what we're told by the show. He brought a bank line and not the strong paracord. Now they tell us that the paracord has a strength of 550 pounds while the bank line will break at 100 pounds. And he tells us he brought bank line because you're allowed to bring more bank line in the competition. Now they allow 262 feet of paracord, but 1,575 feet of bank lines. Or you could bring both paracord and bank line. And he felt the paracord would be less useful in multiple ways. The bank line apparently can be used for even sewing and fishing. So I think that's a good thing. You know, you couldn't take the paracord because he can't make a gill net because that's not allowed. You have to put lines and then you have to watch your lines when you're fishing. So I think this is a good one. So what do you think? Do you think you bringing the bank line and using that instead of the paracord is a wise decision from Baja? So then we see that it is 4:52 p.m. Still no fire. It's almost an hour. Still no fire. The wood may be too hard or too soft, according to the show. He is too exhausted to try anymore. He said no fire, no shelter, no water. No fire for water. Tomorrow, if there's none, then he may have to tap out. This is day 2 at 10:49 a.m. He goes around and he sees the poop of an antelope and he wants to use it as firewood. Now, dry poop has low moisture and makes it easy to ignite to sustain a flame. And I was like, how we handling that poop? We ain't got clean water to wash our hands. How we handling, even though it's dry poop, I'm aware it is poop. After 24 hours without water, severe dehydration sets in, affecting the heart rate. He said he's never used animal poop to make a fire before, and guess what, y'all? It falls apart. Now, he does show us a monkey in the distance. He didn't have very good camera stability and stuff like that. This group, y'all, I didn't get much pictures because the camera stability just wasn't there. So, he does know what type of monkey it is. And I'm like, wasn't he paying attention in class? Because before they drop you off, they do tell you and have a class about the wildlife, about the flora and fauna. At least that much I know. So you can know what you can and cannot hunt, what is good to eat, what is not good to eat. They teach you, I guess, what is called the topography of the area. So the show tells us is a vervet monkey. It is known for being opportunistic and curious and may steal your stuff or food. Now, y'all, the vervet monkey is one of those also in a post that I made as to what things or animals they can hunt while in this Great Karoo Desert. Great to see one of the contestants actually sees one. So at 12:36 p.m., still no fire. He said he feels dehydrated and frustrated. 1:40 p.m., still no fire. 2:09 p.m., fire, finally. Woo, he said now he needs to transfer the fire to the shade. I'm like, dude, why weren't we building the fire where we needed it instead of building it and then transferring it? But if you are a survivalist, let me know why. He would make it here and then transfer it. He said it was harder than he thought, but he thought once he's comfortable, he can survive. Y'all, I don't know. I would have given up one of his items for the ferro rod. He didn't even bring a blanket, y'all. Oh my golly. So day 3 at 7:12 a.m., he said he had eggs, breakfast sausage, and bacon, and pancakes, and maple syrup. He said he is stuffed. And he is joking. But I'm thinking it is mind over matter. If you tell yourself you're full, maybe you'll feel full. So he said he is going to build shelter today and build it away from the wind. And he said he's using wild willow to make his shelter. Making a simple shelter, he says if he can move to a different spot or if he has to, it is easy to disassemble and move. And he said the shelter should take very little effort. It shouldn't be too big, it shouldn't be too small, but it shouldn't take up too much of your time. So that was Baja in this episode. Next up, we see Nathan. It is day 1 for Nathan at 1:23 p.m. He is going fishing to get bait. He sees grasshoppers in the brush, and he takes his trucker's hat off, and he is using it as a net. He says he is taking the belly first approach. He needs to fill his belly before he does anything else. We learn his backstory. He's from southern Idaho. His dad wrote a survival book that became a national bestseller, and his dad became famous. His brother Luke was on season 10. He does own a software company, but he escapes into the wilderness in his free time. So he gathers a very tall grass to make a bed. And we're told grass absorbs heat and releases it over time. It is a great insulator. But while he's packing it up, I'm like, can't something crawl and live in the grass? That you've decided to make a bed on the ground? We got scorpions, we got snakes. I'm like, it's a great insulator and all, but I don't know about the ground level. And then the ants around. So he made camp downwind and in the shade. His research said there's very little rain during this season now, so he doesn't feel like he needs to put the tarp up. So no need to build a shelter, just a grass bed. Ain't there mosquitoes around? I'm just saying. So, he did catch something when he went to his line, a small-mouth yellowfish. That was also one of the items that I said, or one of the things they can hunt. Unfortunately, the way his camera was positioned with the sun behind him, it was really hard to catch a really good clear shot of that, so I do not have a picture. But we do have that Nathan caught a fish. We're told that small-mouth yellowfish are large minnows and can grow to 20 inches long. Jeez, I don't know the little minnows. Day 2, 9:17 a.m. He's headed to scout out and hunt and checks the wind. He just throws some grass to the ground, see how the wind is going, so he stays downwind. I'm like, he's not walking with a pole for poking and stuff like they told them they need to because of what's in the ground crawling around. But he does find poop. It turns out it's the poop of a white rhino. And the white rhino is the largest species of rhino that can weigh up to 6,000 pounds. Now, why am I out here? Out there. He does see a herd of red hartebeest. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And they're all looking at him. They stop and they're looking at him. They are an antelope-like hartebeest. They are elusive and agile, making them very difficult to hunt. Now the animals look off to the side. There's something else there. And all we're hearing is the of some animal. And we can't see until he turns the camera. And there's a wildebeest. The wildebeest circles him. Like it goes around the bush that he is sitting on and comes around. And I'm just like, I'm holding my breath. So he says these are prey animals. So they're always on alert. And it's going to be hard to catch them. So he says fish is his high priority because they're easier to catch. And I'm like, that is so true. But some people ain't catching fish. So I hope you have fish there. Next up, we have Colton. It is day 1 at 7:18 p.m. He forgot to film himself fishing, y'all. But he caught himself an African sharp-toothed catfish. He said that is several days of food right there. And the show says, this 10-pound catfish will give him 2,800 calories and 400 grams of protein. I'm like, it's best to fish at night because he caught this at night. And I have a picture for y'all to see the size of this fish. It is a beast. Especially if you're there and you're hungry. It is a beast of a fish. So he's going to air dry the meat. He said smoking is not necessary in this area. that the warm breeze and the low humidity would dry it out. It's the sun that spoils the meat. So he puts it in the tree in the shade. I will, of course, have a photo of the meat hanging in the tree. But I'm thinking, what about predators? You're having this meat hang in a tree close to where you laying, and it is just food that they can come and get? Please, I wouldn't be doing it. And then what about flies? What about other things? Oh, to just have the meat exposed and just the air that ain't really flowing, dry it? Y'all tell me what this whole, air drying the meat is about. Because I'm like, it's exposed to the elements anyway. So we hear his backstory. He's a carpenter and a bow hunter. He's hunted squirrel as early as 3 years old. Okay, my 3-year-olds weren't doing that. He is excited to explore this new ecosystem, and he has hunted up to 700-pound elk and even bear. And we see pictures and photos of him doing that. And he leaves behind his girlfriend of 9 years. Day 2 at 7:53 a.m. He built a hammock in the trees with the paracord and his canvas tarp. See why he needed that paracord, Baja? Okay. He said he feels safer off the ground because of spiders and scorpions. Now, I hate to tell you this, okay? I hate to tell you this, Colton. They can climb trees, okay? It's great to be off the ground, but they can climb too. We're told that scorpions hide in shady spots from the extreme temperatures. And he says he needs to scout and hunt before the heat of the day. And he's excited to hunt all these things that he's never seen before. And we're told that over 65 mammal species are in the Karoo region. He doesn't know anything about the animals in the area, and he plans to observe them. And I'm like, didn't you do no research? What's the research, Colton? You going in there blind? He sees 2 female impalas 60 yards away, and they run. That is too far for him to use his bow, y'all. They have to be within 50 yards. So we're told that impalas can hear sounds from over a mile away. Now the baboons are yelling at him. The baboons are yelling at him. He's like, hey, I may be close to their water supply. He's like, but they better be nice because baboons are on the menu. So they best behave. And I wanted to pass out laughing because that you paid attention to in the class they were teaching. That baboons are on the menu. We're told that baboons have attacked humans at wells. So it is a good thing that he's watching them and paying attention. So he walks around to see what animal clues are in the area. And his dad has always told him bedtime stories of survivalists. And he feels like where he is like a big old stadium where he's on the field and all the animals are in the stands watching him. He is making catfish head soup. And he says, while I'm waiting for it to boil, let me carve out a spoon. Now, I don't know about you, but, my family will eat a good fish head soup. If we get salmon heads, we'll do a salmon head soup. That is a usual soup. But I don't know if he used to a fish head soup. He talks about missing his dad. His dad passed away when he was 22. He does also miss sandpaper. He said that little convenience would be so great to smoothen out his spoon. And he said he's not okay, but he could not acknowledge it. Okay? He was taught to suppress his emotions. He saw his dad cry 2 times in his life. At his own dad's funeral and when their dog got hit. He said it's not healthy, it's not good to be a tough guy, but that is how he was raised. Now he takes his first sip of this fish head soup out of his spoon. The spoon looked really good, y'all. He just needs to smooth it out, but the spoon looked really good for him sitting there carving it all this time. But he tastes some slime on his first taste. He tosses the fish head soup. He tosses everything. And I'm like, dude, it's okay. Maybe you need to boil it twice. Maybe just skim the slime off the top. Something. It's a catfish. But anyway, he said he's going to go eat the dried fish in the trees. And I was like, wait a minute, this is day 2. This is day 2. This is the evening. That fish been sitting outside all day. Day 4, 9:21 a.m. Last night, he says, was rough. The tarp ripped and he hit the ground. No more hammock. I was like, dude, you just getting it on all sides. He said, time to start building a long-term shelter. He gets the rocks, the bushes. He said there's very little trees for shelter and firewood. But, he can, pull out the phone and check online. That is not an option right now. And I'm like, did you research the area? Because he just doesn't know what bushes and trees he should use. And we've seen the other participants saying, oh, the thorny trees can protect me and all this. Did he not pay attention or in the class, or did he just not do any research? So a few hours later at 11:49 a.m., he says, he's doing rough and it's only day 4. He said it's only freaking day 4. So he's making a shelter under the thorny tree, and I was like, ooh, good idea. He said, but this is stealing his joy. He cannot find the joy in things. He has not been hungry in these 4 days, but he still needs to eat something. He, later on, y'all, is dry heaving. His fish is still out on the tree. I'm going to show you a picture. He's standing there dry heaving in front of the camera, and the fish hanging in the tree is still out there, y'all. This is day 4. He caught that the evening of day 1, and it's just out there. And I'm like, aren't the birds eating at it? Aren't the birds pooping on it? Where are the flies? Where are the ants climbing in the tree? Why are we still eating this meat being out for 3 days? Even in the shade? I don't trust it. I don't trust it. He said the catfish head soup was slimy soup. It turned his stomach, and the fish is drying out, but the last thing he wants to do is eat. But you boil the thing. I need to know how he was doing on water, because we did not see him on his collection of water and his boiling of water. Because if he didn't do the bandana, distill at first, he may be in some serious trouble. He said he's wondering if he should be out there. That's how it starts, y'all. At day 4 at 2:03 p.m., he thinks something's wrong. He caught a fish. He's not happy about it. He's on a sandy beach in South Africa, and he's not happy about it. None of this excites him. It is not making him happy. It's hard to find positive, thoughts now. He is blindsided by this. It's real easy, he says, for the brain to wander. And he has 2 options. Get through it alone in his head, or, he said, it's effing 4 days. 4 days. Or he can pick up the phone and call out. But this is hell. He never thought in a million years that this would happen. And he said depression is real. I have a picture here to show you, y'all. He calls and officially taps out. Y'all, Colton taps out. Whew. He said his head is spiraled. He's in a bad place. Depression came in on him. He thought he was 100% when he came in to win this, but he needs help. He needs someone to talk to. But it's embarrassing after 4 days. And he can't feel like this anymore. It's not embarrassing, Colton. If you feel like you need someone to talk to, now is the time. It's not embarrassing. You may want it to do more, but guess what? You've done certainly more than I could possibly have. So definitely congratulations on 4 days. You were selected over hundreds of people. That was the first thing. Then you got yourself together and out there, and you lasted 4 days. I need you to understand how important that is, Colton. If you're not going to feed it into you, congratulations, I definitely will. He goes on because everybody, they came to him. I didn't have good shots of the boat coming to get him, but they came, he called out, they came and got him, they showed up with their camera, and he's talking to them. He said he came here to show he was a big, bad, and macho, but that's not important. What is important is your own happiness. He has not been more sure of anything than this call, and he cannot suppress depression and pretend it's not there. In the past, he thought that if he showed emotions, it was not manly and he was being weak. But it's okay to say, you're not okay. Doesn't make you any less or weak. It doesn't make you any less of a man. His dad, he said, will probably give him a big hug for this epiphany. He has a lot of work to do, and he's excited to start the next chapter. Now, I applaud you, Colton. It is great that you are aware that this is depression. You know you need someone to talk to, and you are prepared to start the work. That is a major thing, Colton. I don't want to take that away from you at all, and you should be thrilled that you're at this point. Y'all, at the end of the episode, they show you him getting there. Y'all, getting back to the main camp, it take them all day. Because remember, he called and they came. He called at about after 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it took them till nighttime to get back to the main camp, where you got a full physical. It's called after the pickup or after the ride out. It took all day. They do a full medical checkup, and he said, hey, I needed to get out of there, and they let him know this is a safe space, which it is. So y'all, Colton has officially tapped out. So I'm guessing Jit tapped out early, and then they had to go get Colton if we're looking at the 2 episodes together. Next up is Doug. We see Doug eats berries. We see a little montage. He eats berries. He lands, he gets fire, he makes water, and then we see it's day 1, 3:18 p.m. He creates a boma. Bomas are enclosures of thorny bushes as protection from predators. And then he sees big animals are looking at him, and he looks at the top of the ridge. I don't even know how Doug saw this animal from the top of the ridge, because I couldn't even see it. It's a zebra. And zebras are protected, y'all. We do get Doug's backstory. He says surviving became a means of escape for him. As a child, he went to the library. He got books about surviving. And he is from New Hampshire. He is a web designer. And he does friction fire. And that is what pulled him into survivalists and learning more about it. He does hunting and fishing with his father. That's how he started. He finds another water area. We're back in Africa. And there's crab in it. That's his first protein. There are 20 different types of freshwater crab in South Africa. Then he goes along and he sees another crab. I didn't even see that crab in the bottom of the pond, y'all. I'm like, what is he? Is he seeing things already? He uses a rock to catch this crab, and it's a second crab. These crab, we're told, will give him 80 calories and 18 grams of protein. He is thankful for the crab, the land, and to be alive. He puts the crab, purslane, and buffalo thorn leaves, and those cook down like spinach. So he had crab and spinach. He said food preservation will be hard. He will store food in his belly. I was like, yes, dude, that is the best way to store it. He eats with chopsticks he made on day 1. And I'm like, can't he use the crab to fish? What are your thoughts? Because I've heard that before. He could use parts of the crab to definitely fish. Next up, we do see Douglas. Douglas, we see him exploring. We see a montage of him exploring. And in day 3 at 1:58 p.m., he says, this is where the earliest people have hung out. And we heard that the earliest humanoids discovered in South Africa lived 2.5 million years ago. So he found a napping rock, Knapping, a napping rock. This is a flint napping, is a rock used to create tools from arrowheads to blades. Then he found chert. Chert or flint is a sedimentary rock with sharp edges used to make early tools and weapons. And I'm like, Douglas, you caught a little gold mine. So we see his backstory. He teaches primitive tech and skills. He knows about using rocks and creating survival tools. He took 1 class and was hooked. He does make blow pow-pows, Guns, and darts. A month before leaving, he found out his dad has cancer. Now, y'all, when they say these things, I'm like, I like you, Douglas, but is that emotional pull going to cause you to tap out? I don't know. But he said his dad told him to go follow his dreams. And Africa has been his dream since he was a kid. So I see you, Douglas. So the show moving fulfilled part of your dreams. That's absolutely amazing. So building shelter in the shade under a big tree is his biggest thing, because you need to be in the shade from the sun. So at 4:57 p.m., he hears noises, a growl or a moo. I couldn't even tell what it was. He goes to look, and he goes without a bow, without an arrow, without a stick. I'm like, Doug, what are we doing? What are we doing? What if it's a big animal? What are we doing? I didn't even see him pick up the kit that they would tell them to ward off predators. He said the biggest danger is the cat buffalo, but they are also rhinos. And they say rhinos have poor eyesight and may charge at perceived threats using their horns as weapons. He said, he's going to be hopeful that he's now going to be rhino bait at night. I was like, dude, you need to go back to your shelter. It is 9:26 p.m. and more noises. He said, I'm hearing more noises, but I can't see it. He said, I just want to make it through the night. While he's saying that, y'all, we see the hunter's camera show us exactly what's been walking around. He can't see it, and it was a nighttime camera, and I have a photo. I've circled the rhino that was close to his camp. Day 4 at 7:09 a.m., he said he couldn't sleep at all. I wouldn't be able to. He said he heard the noises all night. Something big was around, and he's going to check the area. Douglas, we know what it was. He felt he could almost reach out and touch whatever was out there outside his tent. He said he's close to a watering hole for animals, but he didn't see anything to tell him what was out there last night. We saw it though. So Douglas, I'm going to need you to get some more thorns and put around where you are. Y'all, that is the end of the episode. We do have the Colton tapped out. So when we go to the third episode, we're going to see it is day 5 or still day 4, and 2 people have tapped out already. This is Alone, y'all, season 12. I hope you've enjoyed this recap. I hope you'll continue to be with me for the rest of this season. Glad to have you here. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel.